Recorded when I'm smart. All right, here we go.
Make everybody stressed about it. You know, I'm like, somebody's got the digital herpes over here.
All right, here it is.
All right, let's talk about the pitch real quick. Something I promised last time and we ran out of time. Let's talk about the pitch, right? Let me help you real quick. And if I'm not going to type this out, I'm not good at written as I am verbally, so I apologize. Somebody wants to transcribe it, they can. I know there's some transcriptions in the group, but let me start it out on exactly how you do it. Now listen, let me go ahead and clarify before anybody says, this is as good written as it is spoken. Okay, so if you're writing an email, good. If you're talking to somebody, good. All right. Just so we can cover both bases, let me explain a little bit about email. Okay, something that what Jack and I did that swipe, right? I personally like and can get away with like left field subject lines because I believe for myself, I don't open emails that I can figure out what the email is about just by the subject line. I skip right over. I'm like, I've seen that. Oh, that's what they're going to talk about. Right. So it's like shifting through your mail, you know, you're like junk mail, junk mail, junk mail, up, Bill, I'll hold on to that. Right. Subject lines, if they're left field, I go, what is this person talking about? And I'll click on it. So you want to go as left field as possible with the subject line to get attention and to do pattern and disrupt, but yet be close enough or funny enough or witty enough to tie them right back into what you're originally going to say. Saying that, I personally don't think you should ever put ERTC in your copy of an initial email and or your subject line. Why am I saying that? Why do you think I don't think you should do that? By the way, just like I don't think you should ever put reputation management or marketing in your subject line or copy. Why would you not want to do that?
Salesy.
Groups you or lumps you into, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's what they're going to talk about. Oh, I've already talked to somebody about reputation marketing. My CPA told me about ERTC, right? It lumps you into that. And let's be honest with you, does the name of it have any value on what you're providing? Does the name of it have any value on what your services are? Zero. So make sure that you leave that out. Make sure that you leave that out. And that's why I tell you to do that. Okay. Just being transparent and sharing with you what I've discovered and where my head is, right? What I've picked up on in my 30 years of sales experience. Okay. So just to give you an idea of what Jack and I used, I like the subject line, and this is an example, you can use your own, right? Pink elephant sitting on my chest. Somebody said you put IRS in brackets and put pink elephant sitting on your chest is the strongest subject line ever. Right? You're painting a picture in as few words as possible in a subject line. IRS, pink elephant sitting on my chest. One, IRS, I'm going to read it. Two, I've had pink elephants on my chest. I hate that feeling. Let me see what this person had to go through. Right? It pulls people in. Then your first subject or your first tag of your first line of your email, your bullet there, right as they open it, go, I had a friend who was in a position that had a pink elephant sitting on her chest and she could barely breathe. But let me tell you what she did to get that off her chest. And then you go in to your story. And what is your story? Your story is a situation or a scenario that you're sharing, that you're taking objections off the table, all based on what sounds like a campfire story, right? And my story that I use a lot, and it's a real story, true story, so you can all use it also, right? Is about the lady I had in Jackson, Tennessee, owned an Asian restaurant. I've done a bunch of work for her. She was one of my radio clients when I did radio up there on 93.1 FM, right? And I hit her about the ERTC, and she told me, hey, we're coming out of this pandemic, it's killing us, blah, blah, blah. Things are tough, things are hard. And I said, well, there's money left on the table for you. And she said, yeah, well, I talked to my husband and CPA, and they said we don't qualify. Listen, once again, this is important to the story, so I'm going to bring it up. It was an Asian restaurant, Asian owner, Asian husband. Her saying that her husband says they don't qualify puts me at a very low position, because they honor their husband. Like, when their husband gives them word, whether it's right or wrong, like, it's the word. And I understand that and know that from working with different cultures, and respect that. So I told her, very carefully, because I knew what I was asking her to do. Listen, I agreed with him. I said, he's right. You wouldn't have qualified for it. It was something that you probably chose to get the PPP, right? You got the PPP, didn't you? Yeah, we got that. Well, that's why they say they don't want to do it. It's because they went with the PPP, because when it first came out, you had to choose one or the other. What a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people have failed to notice, is they came out with the American Recovery Plan in 2021, a year later, that changed up the ERTC, and basically it's left more money on the table than what the PPP originally provided. So you can qualify for both. Here's the good news, Mrs. Customer. My website has 9 fields. It's going to take you 90 seconds to fill it out. I've got experts in place right now that'll calculate your credit and your qualification. No financial commitment out of pocket from you. Just give me the 9 fields. Let me go to work for you. Either I come back with good news, or we part friends, and I'll call you next time I see some great marketing program that we can get started again, right? Because I did a bunch of geo-targeting stuff for her, is what I was talking about. Okay. She filled it out. She went against her husband's advice. She filled it out. Went against her CPA's advice. She filled it out, and we got her $78,000. It was a win. And it came at a time where she needed the money more than ever. So that pink elephant got taken off her chest. Okay. See how I story branded in a common objection, a common rebuttal. I actually made sense of saying something as outlandish in a subject line as a pink elephant sitting on your chest, IRS. Give me a roger that if you understand what the brand is. You can use the same story, just put it in your own words. Let me know.
Roger.
Effective, right? Highly effective. I'll be transparent and share all my stories with y'all, so y'all can use them as much as you possibly can. I want you to. Hang on a second, I gotta do. I want you to use them. But here's what I really want you to do, and I'm just gonna call it out. I want you to go out and create your own stories. I want you to create your own stories. And if you're out there immersed in this, intensely obsessed with going out there and talking to people, I'm not talking about 1, 2, or 3. Don't be that person that goes and signs up one warm lead and then sits on their hands and holds their breath and hopes it goes through like they think before they go and sign up anybody else. Hit the ground running, because this is what you're going to regret at the end of 3 years, that you didn't go harder. That's the truth. Go out there. You need to talk to 100 people minimum. Go out there and create your own stories and share them with us. Share them with us. Do the right thing. Share your stories with us. Put them in the group. So some of the newbies can also use the stories. Okay. Is that a promise we can all keep?
Okay.
That's my promise to you.
Yeah.
Promise me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. All right, so let's go through the pitch real fast. We're gonna go through the pitch. So this pitch also works with email or verbally, right? I just wanted to talk about subject line because that's obviously something you would not go over verbally. Here's what I like to say. And I'm going to pretend that I walked in to somebody physically and or called them, right? You immediately want to give them a benefit. Listen, I've got a way to get you a large chunk of cash that you don't even have to pay back. Let's be honest. How quick would you say yes? Well, yeah, but what is the customer going to say? Yeah, that sounds good, but I mean, is it legal? Here's what I need. I need 15 minutes of your time, but here's what I can guarantee you. I can guarantee it's the most valuable 15 minutes you'll spend all day, if not all week, maybe all month. What are you doing by saying that? Let's just take a break right there. What are you doing by making that statement? Let's brain dump. What are you doing? There's so much involved in that 2 sentences.
Prioritizing yourself.
Curiosity, of course. You're giving them what's in it for them, what people really care about. I like that, Meg. You're showing confidence. See, a lot of people would be afraid to make a guarantee like that because they're so terrified they'd be asked to actually fulfill or to follow through with what they got. Right? You're giving them expectations. But most of all, you're letting them know out of all the 15 minutes that they spend all day, all week, or maybe all month, that this is going to be the most valuable 15 minutes they've spent in a month. That's a strong, bold statement. I'm going to listen to you to hear that. I wish I would have recorded it. How many of y'all know who Brad Lee is? Anybody know who Brad Lee is? Big marketer, used to work with Cardone a little bit, owns Lightspeed, like a training platform system. Anybody know who Brad Lee is? Anybody listen to him on Instagram? Maybe not.
No.
I used exactly that pitch, just so you know, and I had Bradley on the phone in 10 minutes. I had something I wanted to talk to him about. And I told him it'd be the most valuable 15 minutes he ever spent all day, all week, maybe all month. In 15 minutes, I was on the phone with him. All right, I'm going to go backwards and go over that line one time. You ready? Listen. How would you like to have a large chunk of cash that you didn't even have to pay back? Be honest, how quick would you say yes? Here's what I need. I need 15 minutes of your time, but here's the guarantee. I guarantee it's the most valuable 15 minutes you'll spend all day, if not all week, all month. Fair enough? All right, that's the line. Then that's very important because without that part of the pitch, nothing else matters. Without that part of the pitch, you're shut down. You can, it's like a piece of direct mail. It can have a 24-karat plated gold mailer inside. If nobody opens it, then where do you think your 24-karat plated gold mailer goes? In the trash, like every other piece of junk mail. So your first 8 seconds, your first 16 seconds, your first 30 seconds is everything on establishing position, establishing expectations, and establishing, most of all nowadays, attention span to what you're about to say out of your mouth. Let me caveat one thing that I know a lot of people. Let me caveat one thing that I see a lot of people mess up with. When you say something that powerful, we all get nervous. We all get, you got a short attention, a short window. So what do people do? Where do salespeople mess up on that? What do they do? Talk faster. Now, do you think talking faster makes it easier for somebody to understand you? Trust me, I talk so fast. Sometimes people are like, "What did you say?" Right? Yeah, right. The pauses are so powerful, right? Watch a comedian. A comedian understands pauses. Can you imagine a comedian how unfunny they would be if they didn't pause and let you laugh? Let you digest what the heck they just said. And then, have you ever heard something and then thought about it? And the more you think about it, the harder you laugh. Right?
Right.
Shelley, you're so right with foreigners. Speak louder. I grew up, my first job was in a Greek restaurant. I thought they were mad at each other all day long. They just yelled at each other all day. Right? It was just the way they talk. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Pauses. Pauses are everything. Okay? Pauses are everything. How do you create a pause in an email? You put a space or do a ... space and then start again. Or you do a dot, your last word, ... space, and then start the next sentence with ... That's the problem. Listen, I'm not the greatest English person in the world. I was in remedial English, but exempted math. But correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I write it. The way I write it. If I'm trying to put a pause in the email. Okay. So then I go into explaining exactly what it is. So here's where I start from there. You ready? We're going to take our time on this, even though I got a done for you call. I think this is important enough. I want everybody to really, 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 really listen to this, right? So then I start going into explaining what it actually is. But don't come out of the gate saying ERTC. Set them up. The majority of the people have received a PPP. Also, you're anchoring your position to let them know if you mention PPP, this is something like this. Now, let me add one more thing on it. If you ask somebody this question and they did get a PPP, you know damn well they got little butterflies and feel good about it. You mean tell me there's another one? Because that felt nice. Put a new deck on my house. Whatever they spend it on, who cares? Not your business. Okay. So the first thing I like to say out of my mouth is, you remember 2 years ago when they came out with the PPP, did you receive one? Remember 2 years ago when they came out with the PPP, did you receive one? Put yourself in the customer's mind right now. Do you think anybody, some are going to say, no, I didn't. Right? But most are going to say, yes, I did. Do you think anybody thinks back about receiving their PPP and gets a sick feeling or a bad feeling or an uncomfortable feeling or a regretful feeling? Let's get proactive. Answer me on that. You think they do?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. So you're positioning themselves. That's what's so freaking important. Position and leverage is everything in a conversation, especially when you're sucking the oxygen out of the room, whether you know it or not, you're selling. Okay. All right. So did you get the PPP? Yes, I did. Okay. All right. So you might remember your CPA contacted you initially about a program called the ERTC, which is Employee Retention Tax Credits, but then probably told you, no, let's go with the PPP. They will say yes, or they will say no. You will be blown away how many will say yes. Blown away. Right? That's because they had a good CPA. Was on top of things. Right? And of course they chose to go with the PPP. Let me do a sidebar, little talk to that real quick. Why did they choose to go with the PPP? One, it was easier. Two, it was quickly forgiven. You know, they figured out it was forgiven. Three, the biggest reason is they looked at the stipulations of the ERTC and thought, oh my God, do I really want to sign my name on this? It put the fear of the IRS into the customer, into the CPA. So they said, hey, we're not going to do the ERTC. Forget about that, right? You know, that was you know, they wanted to get rid of that. Let's do the PPP, right? They were relieved that something else came out that was easier, that they felt more comfortable about putting their name on. That's the truth. So know that. Now is where you tie back in and build your value. Well, you probably did choose to go with the PPP, and here's what people don't realize. You know, that was called the CARES Act. It came out in the beginning of 2020. They amended and reappropriated the CARES Act with what was called the American Recovery Plan, which didn't come out until March of 2021. And basically what they did was they did take away one of the quarters of approval, which is okay, but they made it where the PPP and ERTC is available. There's money left on the table is what I'm telling you. Let's stop there. Is anybody curious about what you got to say right now? You've got the butterfly feelings. They're falling in love again. They see a big check coming again. They see something that's going on. All while you are tastefully, ethically discrediting their CPA without coming out saying CPA suck, because you never wanted to say that. Do you understand how you're making yourself the expert now? You're making yourself in the know, and you're tactfully making their CPA lose position for the guy that says my CPA, you know, told me this, or for the guy who goes, well, I want to call my CPA and see what he says. I'll get back with you. You're discrediting them. You're annihilating them, right? Because they're not in the know. They wrote it off and never saw it again. And this is a true scenario that you're going to run into. Let me stop right there. Give me a roger that if you understand what I'm saying. If it's feeding in and everybody's understanding where I'm at.
Roger that.
Because I know that went a little deep, and it would have been easier if I had slides showing examples. All right. Very cool, very cool, very cool, very cool. So you go in and you say there's money left on the table. That's where we step in. We're the only ones crazy enough. By the way, there's a 3-year window. That's the caveat. There's a 3-year window, but it does allow you to actually get paid up to $26 per W-2 employee, even if you got the PPP.
That's $26,000, not 26. That was his mistake, by the way.
They're falling in love. You're music to their ears. This guy said it was going to be those valuable 15 minutes I've spent all day, all week, all month. He wasn't kidding. Right? Man, this man does what he said he was going to do. You know what? I think I might trust him. I think I might just hear what he's got to say. Why? Enough about you. Let's talk about me. What do you think about me? Or enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? Right? It's all about me. And you're making it all about them. Okay? Here's the problem. Explain to them that you had to choose at one time and that most people went with the PPP, and that's why the CPA hasn't. You know, let the CPA off the hook. You've already discredited them, but release the fish back into the wild. Catch it again another day. Be humble. Be professional. Be a pro. This is what put us in business. In the last year, we've absolutely drilled down and became the #1 ERT submission company in the country. We've done over 10,000 submissions. By the way, not one has came up for audit yet. True story, true statement. Whether we'll be able to say that forever, I don't know. I mean, but right now, not one has came up with an audit issue. Why would you say that? Why are you saying that and you're just telling them about, one, you got their attention, two, you are eliminating future objection based on your story, which is credibility. Okay? We're the #1 submission company. We've done over 10,000 submissions. By the way, not one issue with audit yet. Why? Because we are experts at it. Let me explain though. It is highly convoluted and confusing. It's not easy to do. But let me tell you what we actually do and where at the point we're at to make sure that we get the exact deal. Because let me tell you, we don't do gray deals. We don't push the envelope on any of these deals. There's a calculation that it does not vary. We use what we call the power of three. We use 3 different CPA teams. If they don't come to the exact calculation, we do not submit it. Let's take a sidebar real quick. What did that statement do? What did that statement do? 1, again, builds your credibility. 2, lets them know you're safe because that's what the majority of the people want. But 3, also separates you from every other jackass out there. It's a power statement, exactly, Don, right? You're separating yourself from the pack. You're being the wolf, not the sheep. You with me? We don't juice any deal out there, period. There is no one deal worth juicing for a couple $1,000 or even $1 million that's worth risking the other 10,000. See, sir, that's what you get with us. You get a chance to get a credit, and once we give you that credit, you can hang your hat and know that it's going to go through exactly as I explained to you today. Now, let me explain how that works real quick so you'll understand. It's very simple. First off, are you in front of your computer? Great. Do me a favor and go to whatever your website is. You all have individual websites, but fill in the blank. I'm going to need you to fill out a few fields. It should take less than 3 minutes. It's very simple, but let me tell you what it does. 1, it puts you in the front of the line. Right now, some of these, you know, the IRS it can get slow. Some of these are taking up to 5.5 months. We've seen some as quick as 18 weeks. I want to get you in the front of the line because 30 days from now, that line could be twice as long. People are just now hearing about this and just now getting involved in it. So time is everything on this. 2, I'm going to get you your credit amount with no financial obligation whatsoever from you until you know exactly what's on the table for you to have. And at that point, you were going to have 3 options. Let me give you the 3 options. So far, does this sound good? Sounds like something you want to hear about? What are you doing? You're flirting. You're marketing. Make them say yes. Make them go, yeah. What does it cost? I mean, come on, right? You knew they're going to say yes. You know it, but set them up. Get them. Need the dough, right? Get them worked in. Get them comfortable. Rub their shoulders. Not literally, but you know what I mean, right? Great. Here's what we do. It's something that you're going to find that we've done through the volume that we've done. We're able to do this. You'll find that no other company is even offering this, but we actually offer what's called 100% contingency, similar to the, you know, a personal injury attorney that you see on TV all the time, where they take, you know, 100% contingency. You only win if we win type deal. We will take it on 100% where you pay no money out of pocket. And we'll do that for 30%. Much less than what most of those attorneys charge. I know they charge 35 or 40. Plus that, we're only 30%. Now, if you want to save a significant amount of money, you can, once you get your credit, decide to put down what we call a work order deposit. And at that point, after you get your work order deposit, hang on, I got to just tell this person on the webinar. Sorry. At this point, you can decide to put down what we call a small work order deposit, save a significant amount of money. Pause, right? Why is a pause important right there? Why is a pause important right there? Make them want it. Make them lean up in their chair. Make them start drooling. Make them salivate. You just said a significant discount. You're building anticipation. You can do a small work order deposit and we drop that fee all the way down. If you're in front of them, take your hand and put it up in the air and drop it all the way to the ground and show them we drop that all the way down to just 25%. Now, I know 5% don't sound like a much, but realize we've seen rebates up over $3 million. 5% adds up quickly when you see one of those. Pause, pause, pause. Right? Why are you telling that story? Why are you telling that story? One, you just validated why you said significant amount of money, and you're not like admitting that you just made them salivate. Right? Two, you're letting them know, holy shit, what if I get $3 million? Are you kidding me? Now your 15 minutes just got even cooler. You weren't kidding when you said the 15 minutes was going to be the most valuable. $3 million? I'm going to make $3 million in 15 minutes. It creates the dream. It creates the FOMO, right? Now, I know 5% don't sound like a lot, but we've seen credits be up over $3 million. So you can imagine that's huge, right? But there's one more. And I was surprised to see 31% of our people have chose this method. Probably the reason why is just like that 5% equals big money when you're talking about $3 million rebates. I can drop it out down almost 50% from the original 30% I told you if you choose to pay up front. And that's 18%. A massive 7% discount. Now, this is where I wouldn't pause. Immediately run into this. Don't give them any time to pause, right? Now, here's the best part. You don't have to choose any of these three until after you know what your exact credit amount is. But you know that these are the three that you're going to have to choose from. But don't make up your mind now. Relax. Let me go to work for you. Let me calculate your rebate. And let me make sure that we get you on board and get you in front of the line. Fair enough? Everybody with me on that? Give me a roger that if you stayed with me. I'm sorry to keep asking all that, but I just want to make sure everybody stayed with me.
Roger.
Y'all getting value from this? Let me tell you, this is not hypothetical. This is not me guessing. This is not me coming up with something I think would be good. This is something I've done hundreds, if not thousands of times for you members, closing your clients, and absolutely perfected this. I'm not telling you it might work. I'm telling you it does work. This ain't speculation. This is reality. Okay. I'm really breaking it down so you understand exactly why I say and what I say. Because if you do choose to put in a couple of your own verbiage or words, I want you to understand what it is. Now, I've given them what to expect. I've salivated them with the dreamy $3 million number. Now, what do I do as a professional? What does a pro do at this? What does a pro do at this? I wouldn't put this in this whole story in an email. No, I would make them bite first. But what does a pro do at this point in a pitch? You do what I call a cool down. I call it cool down. They're going to say yes. Let me just go ahead and tell you, you're going to hear yes 9 times out of 10. I'm going to say as much as 95%. And I'm being bold, but I'm being real. Right? You don't have to do the takeaway because they're in. You've got them in the net, right? But what you don't want to do is let them get out of the net, right? You want to slowly take the oxygen out of that room, have their head in the vise, and crank it one more time. That's the truth. Sorry to be visual, but that's it. Okay. So now you do what's called a cool down expectations. If you properly set them up on a proper expectation, if you're a pro, right? Because you just did what was called the close. Closes are intense. You're leaving out, you're using, I said small work order deposit. I didn't go into detail saying you got to do a 5% $10,000 deposit. By the way, on your $3 million, that would be a $150,000 deposit, sir. You think I sat there and queered my deal up going into that detail? No. But they're going to find out. They're going to learn. So you do a proper cool down, proper setup. Okay. The reason why I went over the fees with you now is because although there is no financial obligation for you to find out exactly what your credit is, we do ask for you to sign a simple work order agreement that will be emailed to you. So you do understand the 3 options that I just explained to you today. The reason why is there is a hard cost involved, and it costs us a lot of money to calculate these. These CPAs are not the cheap ones, they're the expensive ones. And we do want you to understand what is to be expected. We're being 100% transparent and what you should expect moving forward. So be looking for that in your email and get it signed quickly so we can keep you in the front of the line. What are you doing right there? What are you doing right there? What are you doing? You're prepping them. You're cooling them down. You're giving them what to expect, and they're giving you their word. They're giving you word. They're giving you the word when there's no reason not to give you their word. And guess what else you're doing? You are eliminating the people, and trust me, this happens because I'm constantly going in behind y'all closing these. You are giving the word, and you're eliminating the possibility of somebody, man, we got this person their credit, and now they're looking at the work order agreement and they want to make changes to the deal. You know what that screams to me? You didn't do a proper cool down. You didn't do a proper cool down. That's fine. Book a call with Uncle Sid. Let me handle it. Because I love you. I'll do it for you. But I know each one of them. And this is how you do it. Fair enough? So you're going to get a work order agreement. It's going to go over those fees exactly like I just gave you. And so you're going to have to choose. Again, remind you, you do not have to choose today. We can get moving right now. I can get you in the front of the line. You're not going to be expected to wait as long as it could be. But again, you wait 30 days, there's no telling how long it could be. Now, once you fill out this form, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there's going to be one of our performance teams from ERTC Express that's going to call you. That's going to call you in 15 minutes to 24 hours. Because the volume fluctuates, I've seen them do it as quick as 15 minutes. But sure enough, the second I promise that, they'll make me a liar. I'm not going to start the call out with you. You'll never catch me ever, taking a risk of being a liar. Therefore, I'm going to let you know it could take as long as 24 hours. What are you doing with that? Again, solidifying who you are. Again, building value. Again, setting them up. Again, properly cooling them down. Again, building trust. Again, building value. Let me tell you the truth. This pitch that I'm telling you right now comes with ether. You know what ether is? Puts them under the gas. Straight up. If you practice and perfect it and really, really listen and practice what I've just shared with you, it took me months to perfect. You've got it all laid out in front of you, whether you got to go back to the replay or whatever it is, it's all right in front of you. You will land and close more deals than you ever have to this date. I guarantee it, 1,000%. In fact, I guarantee you this is probably the most valuable content you'll listen to in the entire course. Because it puts the rubber to the road, it puts the money in your pocket, and that's what we're all here for. Are we not? Are we not?
Yes, we are.
No reason to go down into the weeds. I know a lot of you do that, and I love you. My father was a Unix engineer, so I grew up and understand a lot, right? No reason to go into the weeds. This is why salespeople hate attorneys sometimes, because attorneys like want to sit there and discuss every caveat. Like, why are you bringing that up? We're trying to close a deal here. You're over here trying to make me jump off the roof, right? You know what I mean? Like when Brian and I served up a deal where we bought 2 car lots, I'm like, these attorneys are going to mess up the whole deal, right? So, anyways, that's how you pitch the pitch. All right. Cool. All right, I got to run because I have I literally, listen, this is real transparent right here for you. Okay. I have a guy who's having to turn off his ads. He stopped cold emailing and stopped Facebooking because he can't follow up with all the clients fast enough.
All right, guys. How was that?
That's great. So I'm just getting set up, Marcus. I see the website you created for me, and thank you for that. Do I have an email that I can use? And I think I like the last comment about his promotions online or through email. Is probably the best way for me to go, than physically showing up at people's doors, or calling them. It may or may not be my first marketing choice. So I just want to know if I have an email, and should I create my business license for my Alaska business for this?
Yeah, use your own email system. You put an email on the bottom of your website. You can use that one, or you can use your own. Don't use your ERTC, because you understood that you don't want to let them, you don't want to trigger when you're sending emails that you're talking about ERTC.
Yeah. Okay. So do I have I should make another email? I don't know if I necessarily want to use my personal email.
Do whatever you want, Eugene. You've done email marketing. You know how to do that. Just but get your own separate email address. I have an email platform that I can load a bunch of emails in, personalize them and send them all out at the same time. I can get you lists. Just let me know. You just give me a city and tell me which area, what industry you want to do, whether it's restaurant and within a day, I'll have you a list of as many businesses with their phone number, their Facebook page, all that data and information will be on that list. I can have it to you in 24 hours. And you can do emails, which what people have been doing is you send, you want to do small groups, send out like maybe 20 emails. As soon as you send them, you call them. That's what works.
Mm-hmm.
You don't send an email and expect for them to respond to you, because they're not. But if you send out an email and then call, they'll, you got a good chance of catching them on the phone.
Right.
And then you go through what the training is that you heard today. You can, verbalize that, internalize it. So that's certainly one way of doing it. There's a lot of ways of doing this. There is a lot of success with doing emails, but that's how they're doing it. They're sending out emails and then they're calling right away and trying to get you want to get the decision maker on the phone. Okay.
Do you have those files for those emails?
I've got them. They are ERTC emails though. So the way that you heard today, he doesn't, so I have those emails. You can try them, you can use them if you want, but I think the idea of the way he set it up, with Pink Elephant and creating interest and then calling them, you might have a better opportunity to give them a pitch rather than them looking at that email and just saying, oh, I already heard about that, or I've been contacted.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Those ones that were created already, and then there was like, just if there's
Ones I
things like-
have now, I've got 4 or 5 of them. They all have ERTC in the subject line and also in the content. So they're, you can try them, but I wouldn't recommend using those.
No, I'm talking about the ones that don't have them.
I
Are there
don't have any that don't have them. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can, that's something you've sent cold emails before, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's about writing them all up and spending time to figure out what I'm going to say, all that for this.
Well, you want to keep it, keep it short, and we can share what works. You can try
Yeah.
something. I think he laid it all out for you. Just something real short and sweet. The
Yeah.
opening line. Like you said, hey, if I could show you, how to get a large chunk of cash that you didn't have to pay back. Let's be honest, how quick would it take for you to say yes?
So, okay, the other question I had, and I do have to go, that's why I'm trying to get this, is I should set up my own business license for my company.
You don't need to, not at this point, no. I wouldn't worry about it. Till you get cranking, then if you want to set up a business, LLC or whatever, for tax purposes, that's fine, but I wouldn't waste time on that right now, to be honest with you.
So basically, it goes to ERTC Express, your
You're just gonna get a 1099 for whatever commissions you get. It's a commission sales position, so you
Okay.
just file your taxes at the end of the year, with a 1099. You've done 1099s before, right?
yeah. So, what is our commission, by the way?
The commission structure is you get 5% of whatever the fee is, okay? Whatever the fee amount is for the CPA. So if it's 30% of the fee, you get 5% of that. If it's 25%, you get 5% of that. If they pay it all up front at 18%, you get 5% of that. And that's just if you get them through. Now, if you can get all their documents in within 7 days, you can get them, everything submitted within 7 days, and you get twice that much. You get 10% of the fee. And they put that in
7 days from when?
From whenever you what triggers the 7-day clock is once they submit the information on your website. That's how we track that information.
Oh, when they fill out the form on the website.
That starts it. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple ways we can talk about it. There's a couple ways people can do it. There's a calculator on there,
Okay,
is to get a list of all the questions and try to gather them first, like on a separate sheet of paper.
Yeah,
Then tell them what documents they need to upload.
right.
Make sure they get all those documents prepared, and then submit all that information at the same time on your website. Okay. And then that way you catch that 7-minute window, because the most, or 7-day window. What you're going to find is going to be the most difficult part of this whole business is getting people to follow through with getting the information and getting their docs together.
Right. That's true. That I know for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
But if they're motivated, and they
It should be.
yeah, they should be excited about it. And so that's why you're the agent, right? Now they're going to get, as soon as they submit that information, then it's going to go over to the fulfillment center, and they're going to get calls from the fulfillment center to, check on, to introduce themselves and say, hey, I'm here to get your docs in. And, if we need something else, then we'll let you know. So that
When do they get that call?
soon as that form's submitted.
On the line. So that simple short form online, that's the one.
Yep.
They get a call from the fulfillment center.
Yep, right away. Within 15 minutes to 24 hours, so they'll get a call.
So I don't even have to worry about that.
Nope.
So if they go to say they get a cold email, they somehow click on it and go to that fulfillment center, fill it in. It's all done. It's basically they go to the fulfillment center.
Yeah.
And what can I do for that person? And I could call them up as well.
I would call them up right away and say, hey, I'm your ERTC consultant. I'm here to help you get through the claim process. I just want to introduce myself. My name's Eugene. You may have already gotten a call from our fulfillment center, but I'm the person that's going to get it done for you.
Okay,
They're there to collect the information, get it all prepared and packaged together. And once they get all that information over to ERTC Express, it's going over to the CPA firms. CPA firm's going to take a look at it. They're going to calculate your credits, and they're going to let us know exactly right to the penny how much you get.
so I'll be calling them back and giving them that type of information.
You can, yeah, you can. That's good. You can say, hey, got great news for you. Hey, you just qualified for $3 million. You know.
Okay. All right.
Marcus,
So that you'll get more of it. So I'm going to give everybody homework. What I want you to do is listen to this this playback. I'm going to upload it here on my YouTube channel, and everybody practice that. And every week we'll have each of us go through that and perfect and internalize it, and we'll critique you to make sure that you're doing a good job. That way, when you go out in the field and do it, then you'll be a master at it.
God bless. Thank you.
All right.
hey, thanks. Marcus, can we stay
Yeah.
on for a few?
Sure. Let me
Yeah.
stop the recording here just so